In this tutorial, I'll show you how to edit images on a page. When you log onto your website, you want to go into the Pages panel and then find a page where you need to edit the image. In this case, let's go to a team page, and our team pages are located down here in the Not Linked section. Let's go to John's page. And here we have images located on the right-hand side. So I'm going to move my mouse over on the right side of the screen so that I can bring up the edit window. And I'll click that, getting into the editor. Now, as you can see, as I hover over the different elements on the page, you see the different toolbars for editing those. So let's say we want to edit this image here. You'll hover over it and then click Edit. That will bring up the image viewer. Here we have the options to edit that image, which will bring up another window where you can actually do some basic photo manipulation like cropping, resizing. You could add text over the image and so forth. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of cropping on this image, because I see on the right hand side there is looks like just some extra image data. So if we click the crop tool, and then we can just drag this over, hit apply, then hit save, and it'll take a moment for it to process. And then you'll also want to hit apply again. Now, if you decide you want to add captions to your images, a lot of them that are already in there have the option just to go ahead and write in a caption if you want. If you don't have anything written there, then it won't show anything. It's not going to show that text that says right here. It won't even show a blank extra space. But if you do want to write a caption, you can type the caption, and you don't need to hit save. It just is, if you click away from it, it's going to save that photo caption. There are some other elements for your image. Almost all the ones on the site are set to be this inline style of image, but there are some other options, and just so you are aware of how you can treat other treatments for images. You could use poster, and that would let you overlay text on an image. Card and overlap, similarly, it lets you put text next to or overlapped on the image. And there's some other ones like collage or stack. But for this site, we really don't need to worry about other image styles. There's also an option here for putting that caption area below the image. You can also say don't display the caption. And really, it doesn't do anything different. Again, if you don't put a caption there, it's not going to show that right here text. It just is not going to show anything at all. But we could change it to say don't display the caption. And then generally, I don't recommend checking the stretch or the enable light box, at least not in the way that this website's working. We don't really need that. If you'd like an image to click through to another website, another page, even a file, you'll do this click through URL. And if you click that box, it'll open up some options for you. So you can put in an external link. You might add a file. It defaults to adding a new file, in which case you click that button and it'll open up your window in order to select the file, or you can also see all the existing files that are on the website. You also have the option, if you click content, to connect to an existing page on the website, and those are organized by the type of page they are. So we have the blog, we have gallery pages, and then we have an index page, which the home page is the only index page we have on the website, and then regular pages. So those are all listed here. I'm going to discard those changes. Now, one other thing to note: when you're moving pages around on a page, or I'm sorry, when you're moving images around on a page, it can be a little tricky at times. So let's make an example here of moving this image. Let's say we wanted to move this image down below. There's a couple of options. This image, if we move it down below to the bottom of the page, it's going to suddenly make it really huge, right? Because it's going to want to expand that image across to that part of the page. If I move it in this black line, let me see if I can get it to show up. Though I want the black line to be all the way across. I don't think I'm going to get it there, but you get the idea. So that's huge. A lot of times we don't want our images to look that big. So a way to get around that would be to add a spacer next to it. So I'm going to go over here and let this, I call it the eyedropper or content dropper, show up. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to choose spacer. The quick way to get to it is to type SP and there's the spacer, and now I've got this element. I'm going to move it to the side of that image. And this sometimes is a little tricky getting it to position just right, especially when we have a page like this with multiple columns. So let's see if I can get this going. You might want to try it on this other side. Oh, I almost had it. I want to show you, even me, I have difficulty sometimes moving elements around on the page, especially, like I said, when you've got multiple elements and you might have columns. But now we have a spacer, and you can see how if we change the size of that spacer, that is going to make some adjustments to the image. So I'm going to move this image to the other side, and I'm going to adjust that spacer so the image is a little smaller. So that was one way that you can manipulate the size of images on a page if when you're adding images to a page they look really huge, is just to add a spacer. I'm going to remove that block. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cancel. I don't want to save any of these changes because it's a live page. So I'm going to say, yes, I want to cancel. And now we're back to the way that the page was. It did save the cropping that I did to this top photo because I had already told it to save that. And that is basically how to add images and edit images on a page.